Hello everyone, and let's start further. Before I move further, I will just like to tell you people about few things like what we discussed in the previous slide. A quick recap: we talked about the site of photosynthesis. We talked about why visible range of light is responsible for photosynthesis. We also talked about phosphorescence, and we also talked about your this light energy exciting your electrons and how your electrons get knocked out. Okay, and we also talked about this the structure of your chloroplast, the leaf, why it is a suitable place for photosynthesis. We also talked about now the reaction, like we know that water is required, and generally you find in books in lower classes it is written 6 molecules of water, but actually no, it came out no, it is 12 molecules of water which is required for evolution of 6 molecules of oxygen. Okay, and I will come to that point again as I said to you people in the previous video. So let's move on further, and we talked about action spectrum, absorption spectrum, and I hope it's clear. If anything no doubt is there, please do ask. Okay, so moving on with the topic further. Now you know that your photosynthesis is basically, you can divide them under two categories. What are they? You can divide them under light reaction and dark reaction as it is shown here. Now light reaction which takes place where in the thylakoids, and then your now it's a misnomer, dark reaction. Basically here fixation of carbon takes place, but for this light is not required, but the products of light are required, and it takes place where in the stroma. As you can see here that the light reaction is taking place in the thylakoid, and for that light energy is required, and it is leading to the production of what? Light reaction is leading to the production of your ATP, which is being used in your Calvin cycle, and again your what? NADPH is being generated by light reaction, and it is being used in your Calvin cycle. Now you can see that both the cycles are important, because continuous ATP has to be converted into ADP for the production of ATP. To maintain that cellular pool, okay, it is required first of all. Now moving on to this, first I will talk about light reaction. And in case of now light reaction, now we can divide them under two, for discussion purpose I'm dividing them under two different sub phases. What are that? That is, you can divide it under two. That is, first is your, you can say it as photo oxidation phase, where what is happening, basically the thing that is taking place in this is what is absorption of light is taking place, is absorption of light is taking place. And then what is happening in this photo oxidation is that there is transfer of energy from accessory pigments to your reaction center. Okay, so from accessory pigments to reaction center. So we will talk about reaction center also later. Okay, so this is there, and then what is there? The last thing that will take place is activation of chlorophyll A molecule. A molecule, which I will explain you later. Okay, so this is for that purpose we have divided it, a light reaction, into photo oxidation phase, where what is happening? There is absorption of light, then your transfer of energy from your accessory pigments to your reaction center, and then activation of your chlorophyll A molecule. Okay, I will come to the reaction centers also, to photosystems also. Now then the light reaction, as I said, it can be divided into two subphases. That is, first is photo oxidation, phase and another is your photochemical phase. Under this phase, what is happening is that is photolysis of water. Here water is breaking down under light. Okay, so we will see this entire reaction and what is happening, photolysis of water and evolution of oxygen. And O2 will be evolved. Okay, and now what will happen here again, this as this electron will pass, the electron transport will take place and synthesis of assimilatory substrates will take place. And substrates will form. What are assimilatory substrates? It is your ATP and your ATP and NADPH. So we will deal with electron transport chain. So first we will deal with the photo-oxidation phase, where we are saying there is absorption of light and then transfer it to the reaction center and then activation of chlorophyll A molecule. Okay, so step by step we will keep on moving. Now this is what here this diagram is showing you. Now what are these? These are the your this photosystem. If I talk about, there are two kind of photosystem, that is photosystem 1 and photosystem 2, and both the photosystems, they work at different energy level, that is 700 nanometer and this works at 680 nanometer. That's how they are named, photosystem 1 and 2. Now their location varies. The photosystem 1, basically you find them where the granum is facing, the thylakoid membrane is facing towards the stromal side. Suppose I make this as your granum, your thylakoids, no? And this is collectively your granum, and you know that these are the stromal areas, okay, where they are facing towards the stroma, and these the oppressed regions where they are facing each other. Here these regions of the thylakoid membrane, there basically you find what, photosystem 2. Here you will find 2, and basically at the regions which is facing your stroma, there you will find 1. Okay, so photosystem 2 is present all over and photosystem 1 is basically present towards the stromal side. Now if any photosystem you take, it consists of what? It consists of a core complex, okay, and its antennal complexes. Okay, so it consists of any photosystem, if you take, it consists of what? It consists of a core complex and its light harvesting complex, okay, which is basically containing these accessory pigments. Okay, now your core complex, it consists of what? It consists of your reaction center, okay, it consists of your reaction center and proteins associated with it, and proteins associated with it, and electron donors and acceptors and acceptors. And your light harvesting complex, if you look at, it consists of what? It consists of your chlorophyll molecule, chlorophyll B and all, carotenoids and xanthophyll. It consists of chlorophyll B, carotenoids and xanthophyll. Fine, so that makes up your light harvesting complex. Now if you can see in this diagram, what is there you can see here that when light is falling, these accessory pigments, which is making your light harvesting complex, they are transferring energy from them to your what? To your reaction center. This is your reaction center. So they are absorbing light and transferring it to the reaction center. And when the reaction center what will happen further, we can see here. Then it will knock out the electrons, as I discussed you in the previous video, that either the electron can get to the excited state and come back, but here what is happening, electrons get knocked out and there is an acceptor of that electron, but that molecule cannot remain into that deficient state of electron for a longer period of time. So that electron has to be supplied to that reaction center, which comes, we will see in case of photosystem 2 what happens, and in case of photosystem 1 what happens. There are two kind of light reactions, okay, that is cyclic photophosphorylation and non-cyclic photophosphorylation. So we will talk about what is photophosphorylation, why we are calling that, everything. So let's start with that. I hope till now it's clear. If anything you feel like, you can ask. Now if you look at this diagram, where what have I done, I have for you now shown you here. You can see here that there is what, this is your what, photosystem. Now I told you it consists of your accessory proteins as well as your reaction center. So the outer ones are your accessory proteins, that is your light harvesting complex, and then it is your reaction center at the center. Now remember that always the reaction center molecule is what, it is chlorophyll A molecule, as I told in the previous video also. Now what is happening here, you can see here, here is what oxidation reduction potential is given, okay. Now you know already I have talked about what is oxidation and what is reduction. Reduction is gain of electrons and oxidation is giving of electrons, okay. So loss of electrons is oxidation, so any molecule which is losing electron is getting oxidized, and the one which is gaining electrons is getting reduced, okay. So this is how what is happening. So now let's move on. This is your non-cyclic photophosphorylation. Why we are calling non-cyclic, we will see that, because the electrons that is coming out is not going back to the photosystem, okay. And here two photosystems are involved, photosystem 2 and 1 both, okay. And in this reaction there is also taking place is what, one of the major important reaction that is happening here is your what, photolysis of water. So I will talk about that also, but first let's look at this reaction. So what is happening when the solar energy falls on it, your electrons from your reaction center is getting knocked out, okay. And now that electron goes where that electron will go, it goes to your now primary electron acceptor. So this is your primary electron acceptor which accepts your electrons, okay. Now as the electrons pass from one molecule to another molecule, as you are seeing what is happening, see this energy is high energy, okay, and as it is passing down the hill, the energy level is going down. And you know, as no system is 100% perfect, the entire energy cannot be transferred, so some energy will be lost, okay. And as the electrons they pass from one energy to another energy, what is happening, it is leading to the production of what, ATP. Can you see here? So that energy is being utilized now for the production of what, ATP. We will see now how ATP is being generated, and we will look at that theory also, okay. And now we can see here, now ultimately this electron is coming to your this now photosystem 1. Now due to light, photosystem 1 electron is getting knocked out from the reaction center, which is getting back that electron which is coming from photosystem 2. Fine. And I said you that it cannot remain in an electron deficient state for a longer period of time. Now this electron has moved out, so it needs that electron back. So who will provide that electron? So in this case, to photosystem 2, that electron is being provided by a water molecule. Okay, so that's why we call it as photolysis. Okay, so basically light is not doing it, but since that electron is being required, it is leading to lysis of water molecule, breaking of your water molecule, and that's why we call it as photolysis. Now we will talk about water later. Now this electron which is knocked out from your photosystem 1, it goes to your primary electron acceptor and it passes down the hill from one molecule to another, as you can see here, and they make up your electron transport chain. Okay, this is electron transport chain of photosystem 1 and this is electron transport chain of your photosystem 2. And ultimately what do you see? It's your electron is being accepted by your what? NADP, and it is leading to the formation of what? NADPH. So which molecule is the final acceptor of your electrons here? That is your NADP. So NADP is getting reduced to NADPH. Okay, and which molecule is from where the electron is ultimately coming? It is coming from your water molecule, and it is leading to the evolution of what? Oxygen molecule. So let me talk about that reaction of water for you. Okay, so for that I will come back. Okay, so moving further, so this is your electron transport system 1. So I will talk about it, but before that I will talk about the water. So if you look at water, that is what? 4H2O. It gives you what? It gives you 4H plus 4OH minus. Am I correct? Now this 4OH minus will give you what? It will give you 2H2O plus O2 plus your 4 electrons. Now if you try to calculate it, what will happen? Now 4 OH minus will get cut off, and now this will get cut off. Then you will get here 2H2O, which will give you what? 4 hydrogen ions plus oxygen plus 4 electrons. So what do you see? That 2 water molecules ultimately we say, we write in this reaction. Okay, so basically it is your 4 molecules of water, okay, which is giving you your 1 molecule of oxygen. But when we cross it and all, we do it, and then we get 2 oxygen molecules of water. Gives you what? Gives you 1 molecule of oxygen. Therefore if you multiply it with 6, you get 12 molecules, and that's how you get 6 molecules of oxygen. So for liberation of your 6 molecules of oxygen, how many molecules of water will be required? 2 molecules of water is giving 1 molecule of oxygen. So 12 molecules of water will be required to give you 6 molecules of your oxygen. I hope this is clear. Now, and remember, this photolysis of water which also takes place, there is a entire complex of it, and very important ion that is required for it is your manganese ion and chloride ion. Okay, so now moving on to this your now electron transport chain. So coming back to your electron transport chain of your photosystem, not cyclic photophosphorylation, we call it as what? Cyclic. Why we call it as cyclic? Because it by photophosphorylation, because here ATP is being formed by addition of phosphate ion. Okay, and since it is happening in presence of light, therefore we call it as photophosphorylation. Okay, therefore we call it as photophosphorylation. Okay, now if you look at this is your cyclic photophosphorylation, because what is happening here in this case, you can see only one photosystem is involved, that is your P700. Now what is happening here, that the electron, due to light, electron is getting knocked out. So electron, as it is moving out, as it is passing down the hill, it is leading to the formation of ATP, and that electron comes back to that photosystem. Okay, so there is no photolysis of water, only one photosystem is involved, and only one assimilatory product is being formed, that is your ATP is being formed, which is being utilized in your Calvin cycle. Okay, so here we can see here, so as through the electron transport chain, the electrons will move down, and ultimately this electron goes back to your photosystem. Therefore it is called as what? Cyclic photophosphorylation. Okay, whereas the previous one was non-cyclic photophosphorylation, and there you got two products. What was that? Your NADPH and your ATP both, and oxygen was evolved due to photolysis of water. Here no photolysis of water is taking place, no NADPH is being generated, only ATP is being formed. Okay, so these are the two photosystems which are involved in your light reaction, and remember that ATP and NADPH are necessary for your Calvin cycle. Okay, without that your Calvin cycle cannot run. Now coming back to your generation of ATP. Okay, because we have seen how ATP is being formed, and for that I would like to introduce you with your chemo-osmotic hypothesis. So it was proposed by your Peter Mitchell. Peter Mitchell told about your chemo-osmotic hypothesis. He laid out down this hypothesis. It was Peter Mitchell. He laid down this hypothesis of chemo-osmotic. What did he say? Now you can see here that this is the thylakoid membrane. It's very clear that this is the thylakoid membrane, and now your electron transport chain is located where these electron, I told you that your photosystem consists of your core complex. Okay, your reaction center along with your electron acceptors and their donors. Okay, so that is forming your electron transport chain in this case. Now if you look at your photosystem 2 is there, and it is associated with your what? Your oxygen evolving complex, that is the complex which is responsible for photolysis of water. Now this is the thylakoid lumen, and the outer side is your what? This is the stromal side. So this is your stroma. Okay, now what do you see here in this case? As light, due to light, the electron got knocked out from your photosystem, one from the reaction center. Now that electron was ultimately supplied by your water molecule. Fine. Now this electron which is getting knocked out from photosystem 2, it passes from via this is what orange, this arrow is showing you what? It is showing you the transfer of your electrons, how the electron is getting transported. Okay, so this is your an electron carrier, and what is happening, it is taking the electron from one photosystem 2 to your cytochrome complex, and this is your transmembrane protein, so it cannot move. So how will the electron reach to it? Here it is using via this mobile carrier, it is moving, and as the electron moves, it pumps it has energy. That energy is being utilized in pumping your hydrogen ions. So there are hydrogen ions in your stroma which is being pumped into your what? Into your thylakoid lumen. So it is pumping, this arrow is showing how the hydrogen ion is getting pumped, and now from here cytochrome complex, your electron is being transported by your plastocyanin to your photosystem 1. Now photosystem 1 transfers the electron via ferredoxin to your what? Ferredoxin NADPH reductase. Now what do you see here? That NADP plus is along with hydrogen ion is taking up the electron and it is forming you what? NADPH. It is leading to the formation of NADPH. Now there are 2-3 things which is now causing what? Development of now you can see there is lot of hydrogen ions being shown here in the lumen, and in the stroma there are very few hydrogen ions. Why? Let us try to understand this. There are 2-3 things which is concentrating this hydrogen ions into the lumen, and this membrane is impermeable. Okay. uh, Now this hydrogen ions can move only through one channel. Okay. Now what are the ways by which hydrogen is getting concentrated? First of all, photolysis of water is taking place. So due to first is photolysis of water, so which is also what doing? It is concentrating your hydrogen ions in it. Okay. Secondly, your pumping of your pumping of hydrogen ions into the lumen from stroma. That's why your stroma has less amount of hydrogen. And third important factor is your that NADP is now taking up hydrogen ion from the stroma. Okay, so that is also decreasing your hydrogen ion in the stroma. So NADP plus is taking hydrogen ion from stroma. So if you look at hydrogen ion concentration, it is getting concentrated in the lumen and it is decreasing in the stroma. Okay, now this hydrogen, due to its accumulation in the lumen, it is generating what? It is generating proton motive force. Like in dams and all, what is happening? Water is falling from a great height with a force. So similarly here also, protons are being concentrated and they are moving with a force through your F0 F1 complex. So this is your F0 F1 complex, which is your basically an enzyme which is called as ATP synthase. What do we call it? We call it as ATP synthase. So this is F0 F1 complex. Okay, so basically they are now able to generate your what? Energy. Like when water falls on the turbine, it moves the turbine, its blade, and generates electricity. Similarly here, what is going to happen? There will be now movement of your how many hydrogen ions? Four hydrogen ions will lead to the formation of one molecule of ATP. So as this proton will move down this ATP synthase, it will move this turbine and it will cause phosphorylation of ADP, and Pi will join and it will lead to the formation of ATP. So that's how we call it as what? Photophosphorylation. Okay, because light is able to generate that proton motive force, and due to that ATP is being formed. Therefore we are calling it as what? Photophosphorylation. I hope it's clear. Still, if something is not clear to you people, please feel free to ask anywhere, and you can raise your question. To my best of my knowledge, I will try to answer it. Okay, thank you.